Hello students. Now we are going to go to the need and significance of economic geography. Now economic geography serves as the purpose of identifying the influence that the environment exerts on man through the preservation of the multiple geo-economical conditions of different parts of the world. Economic geography therefore serves as an essential tool for reducing, finally eliminating world societies' disparity gaps. There are some difference gaps by scientific study of their economic resources, modern needs, and cultural heritage. So, the first point, what is the need of economic geography and the significance, is the close relation with economic welfare. Economic geography fundamentally maintains a very close relationship with man's economic welfare as other social sciences do, but the approach is radically different. Through various stages of interpretation and analysis, it is in final stage and attempts to point out the potential for development of a region occupied by a certain group of people. Now, it eliminates disparity. Disparity, when we talk about, it is in the state of economic well-being and level of production is a common phenomena. In order to eliminate such disparity, mobilization of resources is imperative. A careful study of the situation has been undertaken before any move is initiated to mobilize these resources. Economic geography accomplishes this job. It eliminates disparity. The third point, it is humble and integrated approach. Now, economic geography makes for a humble and integrated approach to such problem, as in it describes a country or region in terms of its natural, human, and cultural environments with relation to man's economic way of life. A certain set of geo-economic conditions led to the development of the Japanese method of cultivation. Now with this diagram you all can see how is it related, how all knowledge comes under different branches of geography, and we are concentrating more on economic geography. It increases the use of quantitative methods and GIS. In comparison to other branches of geography, the use of quantitative techniques has increased in economic geography. This has become more popular with the use of computers. Now, with the use of computers, technology, and advancement, all these methods have come into picture. As in the use of high-speed digital computers, massive amounts of information can now be processed both quickly and easily. Moreover, a computer can be programmed to handle virtually any length of statistical technique. Actually, the computer revolution has been called effective in economic geography in many other disciplines. However, the use of computers has many pitfalls and advantages. Recent technological advancements or developments in large-scale data storage and display, that is mapping, have been beneficial wherein economic geography is concerned. GIS, when we talk about this method, it allows input, storage, analysis, and output of spatial data. Large data sets comprising of numerous variables, when viewed in overlaid fashion, frequently lead to new hypotheses. Now, the impact of mathematics concept of probability and random process. In geography, recognition then that of the traditional modes of explanation do not always apply stems to a greater extent from the influence of other social sciences which have brought dissatisfaction. This recognition has been accompanied by the growth of sophisticated statistical techniques. For some time, these social scientists have been questioning this total predictability of human action and behavior. Before the work of Heisenberg and his colleagues, physicists had taken a more deterministic approach. There is no need, of course, for geographers to jump to conclusion that the Earth's surface is governed by the mechanics or all of that. It is basically to see the economic development as a permanent floating game. More important, it is proper appreciation of the different ways in which chance or randomness can enter into economic affairs. Reliance on models is another need and significance of economic geography. A model is an idealized representation of reality that is intended to demonstrate certain properties of the real world. By model building, we abstract certain factors from reality so that rather than having or consider simultaneously a whole host of them, we can deal with what we perceive as the essential few. Now, if we talk about reliability on models, models have many uses. They can be a set of working hypotheses for researcher. It can guide for the visualization of complex interactions, organizational frameworks for the classification and manipulation of data, simple and effective teaching aids. Thus, models can be concepts, notions, or just hunches. These models are useful chiefly because they are economical. Not only do they transmit general information in highly compressed form, but in certain circumstances, they express a theory as precisely as an verbal formulation. Then we can talk about policy implications as a need and significance. Contemporary economic geographers are also now interested in the policy implication of economic activities. It is recognized that the role of government is fundamental in affecting the level of and location of economic activities. This role is carried out not only by the federal government but also by the state and local governments. Alternate public policies lead to different, sometimes quite different locational patterns. The next point we are going to talk about is as behavioral focus. A new trend in economic geography is the behavioral focus. That is, more attention has been given. I spoke to you all in the last class about behavioral approach. So it has been given, more focus is given to the behavioral pattern in which the emphasis is placed on how location decisions are actually made. It is one thing to describe a region as producing a particular crop or combination of crops. It is another to understand how the farmers in the region have come to decide what crops to raise. Now, similarly, the behavioral pattern movement of the people now determines the selection and location of transport routes. The spatial analysis, that is space related, of the behavioral pattern in all economic activities now has become focus of the economic geography. Next is economic location theory. Economic geography is extremely broad field in the sense that it examines a wide range of activities. This breadth is shared, of course, by the discipline of economics and the social science in general. Like economics, economic geography is unified as a body of knowledge that is not so much identified by the subject matter studied as by the set of interlocking principles. In case of economic geography, these principles and theories are those of location of economic activities, which are known as location theory. Now, location theory, students, basically seeks to explain the basic universal factors that determine and influence the location of all kinds of economic activity. In economic geography, several location theories have been adopted to explain agricultural and industrial location. But now theories related to decision making have become more important. We've already done this in our different approaches. Decision making has become a very important part. The next need and significance is applied economic geography. Now, what do we lay stress on this? Apart from theoretical developments in economic geography, it has now more inclination towards the applied aspect. Another trend in modern economic geography is referred to as general label of applied geography. Since many professional geographers are now working in planning organizations, government agencies, business and industries, they use these geographic concepts and techniques to a wide range of practical problems. Closely related to developments in applied geography is the contemporary mathematics, statistics, computer programming, remote sensing. We've heard about remote sensing, GIS, cartography, which are helpful in the analysis of the spatial programs. Globalization trends. Now, when we talk about globalization trends, the concept of globalization has spread throughout the social sciences, including economic geography. This new outlook on geography is challenging the traditional approaches to economic geography. Basically, the phrases such as the global shopping mall, the global workplace, the global city attempt to capture the essence of globalization. Globalization means it's connected to the world. This concept is based on the new communication technologies and their impact on the local and global economy, as well as on the social, cultural, and political life. Now, the characteristics of this globalization or the significance of globalization can be understood how, as in capital has become more globally mobile. It's rotating and the movement has become more as in olden times, compared to olden times. The market has become less regulated, breaking down government and political control. There is not much government and political control wherein the markets are concerned. Multinational firms have become principal agents of change. The national political forces have been weakened, giving way to multinational corporations. Dual trends have been set in motion. The one trend toward more homogeneous global conditions as a result of widespread competition, and the other one is enhanced differences as localities strive to maintain their identities. Then there is more emphasis on spatial pattern and processes. Need and significance of economic geography. If we see it, there is more emphasis on spatial pattern and processes. The distribution of economic activities over the Earth's surface or within a region may be viewed as a forming pattern. These spatial patterns are often depicted on a map. And another spatial pattern is the surface, which may be cartographically represented in different ways. So now the most common method wherein spatial pattern and processes is concerned of surface mapping is use of isolines through the lines which connect points of equal magnitude. Apart from the spatial pattern, economic geography also deals with spatial processes. Now here when we talk about process, it implies something happening over time. A process, something happening over time. A spatial process then involves change with some of all the elements of a system. Geographers are concerned with the interplay between the pattern and process. Then we talk about the next need and significance, that is specialization and development of sub-branches. Now, the specialization and development of sub-branches means in economic geography, several branches have been developed due to specialization. Since economics Economic activities are diversified. Diversified means it's variety. There is a variety in it. Their study has also been specialized. Now, the specialized has given new status to economic geography. Now, if you talk about the main branches of economic geography, there is agricultural geography, industrial geography, transport geography, marketing geography, geography of resources, geography of planning and development. Actually, all these branches have become independent fields of study, but they have a link to economic geography. And contemporary economic geography is developing at a fast rate due to new research in these sub branches, and also its applied value is increasing in comparison to other branches. The next point is environmental concern and sustainable development. That's the last point wherein significance and need of economic geography is concerned. Nowadays, environmental problems are of great concern in most subjects. Economic geographers are now taking interest in problems associated with environment. We are actually facing a lot of environmental issues which are at a global and a regional level because of the economic activities which are one of the main causes of environmental degradation, like mining, industry, transportation, which are directly related to climate change, global warming, and pollution. So, there needs to be something which is sustainable economic activity. So, now the sustainable development concept has become very integral part of study of economic geography. Here, economic geographers know the distribution, the production and potentialities of the world resources, and they are able to suggest their conservation policy. So here, sustainable development comes into picture. Now, when we talk about the social sciences where economics is concerned, economic geography is concerned with the social sciences, what do we mean by that? Under social science, the relation between with the other subjects is through human geography, economics, linguistic, political science, communication, criminology. All of this comes under social science. Now, economic geography students, we know it is a branch of geography. So, economic geography also is related to other social sciences. When I talk about social sciences, what I mean by social sciences? Social sciences is nothing but social. Social means relating to human society and how it is organized. Science, the study of the physical and natural world and phenomena, especially by using systematic observation and experiment. Now, if we talk about sociology and economics, sociology and economics are closely intertwined and one is often regarded as the branch of the other, vice versa. Sociology deals with society as a whole, which includes various institutions and structures. Here we look at it. So, economics is the social science that analyzes production, distribution, and consumption of goods and services. Sociology is the study of human social relationships and institutions. Now, the study, if we throw some light on it here, the study of sociology and geography together is a fascinating and distinctive synergy of two related disciplines. On sociology side, we study and analyze social relationships in range of human experiences. The geography side covers a range of subjects which are included, which have contemporary social structures within the society, as in cultures and regions, plus the opportunity to examine the role of the geopolitics in our world. So, geography has a great impact on human society. The influences of geographical conditions on human society are very predominant in today's times. As we can say, geographical environment includes the earth's surface. If I put it in simpler terms, listen to this students. Geographical environment includes the Earth's surface with all its physical features and natural resources, the distribution of land and water, mountain and plains, the gravitational electrical play upon the earth and affect the life of man. Sociology is a science of society. Social sciences like politics and economics may be considered as the branch of sociology. Sociology is general social science. It attempts to discover the facts and laws of society as a whole. It deals with all aspects of society. But economics deals with the economic aspects of society. It studies human behavior in relation to the scarce means and unlimited wants. For a student of sociology, social institutions like marriage, religion, political institutions, and economic conditions are all important subjects for study. But in economics, we are interested in them only to the extent that they affect the economic life of a society. And we cannot properly understand the economic conditions of a society without considering its sociological aspects. Though economics is a branch of sociology, we must look at it in a separate and distinct branch. Coming to economics and history. Economics and history are closely related. History is a record of past events. In history, we survey economic, political, and social conditions of the people in the past. To a student of history, love affairs, marriages, even murderers of kings are important subjects of study. For example, murder of Julius Caesar is important for a student of Roman history. In our country, the religious policy of Mughal emperors is important for a student of history. But we are interested in the history only to the extent that it will help us understand the economic problems of the past. So, n number of topics which we cover in history are uh, when we study about the kings and emperors or the legacies, what they have left behind, and what are the consequences of this uh, in today's times, as in through economic problems. History basically studies, if you see, people of different times, and geography deals with different places. Historical facts, if you can see, serve as a good basis for geographical studies. The geographical phenomena has a profound influence on the course of history. Historical studies devoid of geographical background would be inaccurate and unscientific. The world is a stage on which man plays his part. Geography studies the world, and history is the action of man on the world stage. As students of economics, we are interested in things like taxation and other sources of revenue and standard of living in past. In economics, we make use of this historical data to formulate economic laws. We make use of history in economics to study the material conditions of people in the past. There is a separate branch of economics known as economic history. We may say economics is the fruit of history and history is the root in economics. Economics and ethics. Now, ethics here is a social science. It deals with moral questions. It discusses the rules that govern right conduct and morality. It deals with questions of right and wrong. It aims at promoting good life. There is connection between economics and ethics. While economics, according to Marshall, aims at promoting material welfare, ethics aims at promoting moral welfare. When we discuss economic problems, often we consider ethical issues. The government introduced prohibition in many states for ethical reasons, though there were heavy losses of revenue to it. economic geography and psychology. Now here psychology is the study science of mind. It deals with all kinds of human behavior. For example, we have child psychology, mob psychology, industrial psychology, and criminal psychology. But economic studies one aspect of human behavior. It studies human behavior with reference to unlimited wants and limited means. Of late, psychology has become important in analyzing economic problems. Now, here, psychology and geography attempt to understand how behavior and environment are interfaced. In this relation, several different areas of research within both psychologists and geographers are actively involved. Behavioral geography initially borrowed concepts and methods from psychology, but evolved to become an independent subdiscipline. However, because of dissociation between the two areas, psychologists have contributed something different from the geographers. Without exceptions, the psychologists chose to analyze the mediating psychological process which explain why behavior is interfaced with the environment in the way it is. To deal with labor problems, we must understand industrial psychology, and a good businessman must understand the psychology of buyers whenever he wants to change the price of his good. Many important laws of economics are based on psychology. For example, we have the law of diminishing marginal utility, which tells us that more and more of a thing you have, the less and less you want. Now, wherein economics, mathematics, and statistics is concerned, before that, there is another relation of economic geography and anthropology. Now, the interdisciplinary concentration in geography, anthropology, combined courses in these two social sciences to examine the cultural. Anthropology is more ecological, so ecological and spatial relationship of the diverse societies. Particular emphasis between these two is given to the cross-cultural study of communities, regions, human activities from both anthropological and geographical perspectives. The next one, what we can think about the relation with political science, economic geography and political science. It is rapidly changing international economic, political, security, and environmental contexts. The tools of political science and economic geography are becoming important to analyze global problems and provide policy solutions. Basically, political science is a study of politics. Economic geography is the study of economic features of the earth. The two combine to form the study of geopolitics. That is how the geography affects the politic of the people. They have been associated through the subfields of political geography and the different voting patterns through geopolitics, which examines how great powers influence other parts of the planet. The course Political Science and Economic Geography aims to provide the student with an interdisciplinary set of tools to understand and address these growing challenges. Next is economics, mathematics, and statistics. Among other sciences, economics is related to mathematics and statistics. Statistics is the science of averages. It is the science of counting. Many tables and diagrams used in economics are based on statistical analysis. Mathematical methods are largely used in modern economics. Now we have a new science called econometrics. It makes use of statistics and mathematics in economics. The Econometric Society was founded in 1930 and the first Nobel Prize in Economics was awarded to Jan Tinderben and Ragnar Frisch for their contribution to econometrics. Economics as a science. Now we no longer ask the question whether economics is a science or an art. I had already told you all as a concept, What is the nature of economic geography as science, art, and philosophy? Science is a systemized body of knowledge. Just as physics and chemistry are sciences, economics is also a science. We observe facts, conduct experiments, and make generalizations in physics and chemistry after testing the results. The same scientific methods are followed in economics also. Economics, like all other sciences, studies the relationship between cause and effect. Sciences may be broadly divided into two parts: physical sciences and social sciences. Physics and chemistry are examples of physical science. Economics is a social science. It studies, basically, how do we define economics? It studies about a particular aspect of human behavior, and full of as human behavior is full of complexity. It is not easy to study it. So economic science is not as precise and exact as physical sciences. But economics has a greater right to be considered as a science than other social sciences like politics or history, because in economics we make use of money as a measuring rod of utility, use. It is true that it is only a rough measure, but still it enables us to give concrete shape to the laws of economics. Sometimes what we say in economics may not come true in real life, but this is in case with many other sciences. For example, we joke about the weather forecasts. The weather report in the newspaper may say that there will be heavy rainfall on a particular day, but there may be no rain at all on that particular day. On account of that, we cannot say that the meteorology, the science of weather, is not science. Similarly, if some economic laws do not come true, we cannot say that economics is not science. So here today we have, in this lecture, we have finished need and significance of economic geography. Various points have been covered, as in it eliminates disparity, it is humble and integrated approach, system analysis, impact of mathematics concept and random process, reliance on models, then globalization trends, applied economic geography, economic location theory. Then we came to the next topic, that was the last topic in this geography, the relation of economic geography with different social sciences. Economic geography with mathematics and statistics, economics as a science, economic geography and political science, economic geography and sociology, economic geography and history, economic geography and psychology were all covered in this lecture. Thank you.